This video is for Homework and Mastery 1.5, Section 4.4 in your textbook, Simplifying Fractional Expressions with Exponents. What we're going to look at here is using exponent rules to simplify fractions. The first rule that we're going to look at is the quotient rule. If the bases in the numerator and denominator of a fractional expression are the same, and a and b are positive integers, then we can subtract their exponents. Now it always depends on where the larger exponent is. Will depend on where the actual answer becomes. Let's look at some examples. If I have m to the 7th divided by m to the 3rd, I'm going to subtract their exponents. And whenever I do that, notice that the larger exponent is in the numerator. Therefore, I leave my leftovers in the numerator. On n to the 3rd divided by n to the 5th, notice that my largest exponent is in the denominator. So I'm going to subtract my exponents and leave my answer in the denominator, such as here. And so I get 1 over n squared. Wherever you have the largest exponent, this is where your solution will be. The zero exponent. For any non-zero number, if you raise it to the 0 power, it becomes 1. 0 raised to 0 is not defined. We can't raise 0 to the 0 power. Anything else raised to the 0 power is 1. So let's look at this. I have 18 x to the 5th, y to the 4th, over 20 x to the 8th. And I want to simplify this. First, I want to write this out in its factored form. So I'm going to factor 18 and 20, such as here. And I can cross out the common factors, which are the 2's. Now then, notice I have an x in both the numerator and denominator. Where is my largest exponent though? Numerator or denominator? It is in my denominator. So I'm going to subtract my exponents of my x in the denominator. I now have 3 times 3, y to the 4th, over 2 times 5, x to the 8 minus 5. And that leaves me with 9, y to the 4th, over 10, x to the 3rd. And this will be my final answer. Notice, even from the very beginning of my problem, I could tell that my x would be in the denominator because my largest exponent for my x's was in the denominator, which is the way it is in my solution as well. I want to write 2 to the 5th squared as a product and then simplify. Leave your answer in exponent form. Well, what does 2 to the 5th squared mean? Well, it means to write it 2 to the 5th times 2 to the 5th. Well, since they're the same base, I can add their exponents, correct? 2 to the 5th plus 5, which gives me 2 to the 10th. The reason I'm showing you this is it's going to lead us into our next rule, which is the power rule. When we have a power raised to a power, what we're going to do is multiply the exponents, such as here. X raised to the a, all raised to the b, is equal to x to the ab. Also, if I have x, y raised to the b, since I am multiplying the x and the y, I am raising everything inside the parentheses to the b power. So I have xb, yb. Now this only works with multiplication and division. It does not work with that if I had x plus y or x minus y. that leads us into something completely different. So let's stick with multiplication and division for now. So let's look at x to the fourth raised to the third. Again, using the product power, I can say that I've got a power raised to a power, and so I get to multiply my powers. 4 times 3. And I get x to the 12th. There's an additional power rule that works the exact same way as whenever we were multiplying, this time with division. It says the same thing. If I have x divided by y, all raised to the a power, I get x to the a divided by y to the a. I'm distributing my exponent to everything inside the parentheses. Again, this only works if it's strictly division or multiplication. So for example, this says simplify the quotient of 3 and y raised to the third power. So what I'm going to do is I'm first going to look at these and say this is 3 to the first power and y to the first power. Then I'm going to raise both the numerator and the denominator to the power of 3. This allows me to multiply my exponents and gives me 3 to the third, y to the third. But what is 3 to the third? That is the same thing as 3 times 3 times 3. Well, 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. 27 y to the third. So one thing to remember is that when we're looking at exponents, multiplication and division, if you're multiplying, you add the exponents. If you divide, you subtract the exponents. If you have it raised to a power, you're going to multiply the exponents, and you can distribute your exponent inside the parentheses. Again, remember, these only work if you are multiplying or dividing within the parentheses. If it's addition or subtraction, that will come later in the semester. If you need help, please let one of us know.